Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai. Mind makes everything upside down. Everything upside down. And one of the most popular things that has been made upside down and has been believed is that I have to get freedom. Yeah? Most popular. In satsangs, the most popular. In the world, there are 3-4 most popular things like this. I have to get more money, I have to get better relationship, I have to have healthy body, and I want to have freedom. Now this get freedom thing is a big trap. Because every time you feel like you have to get freedom, you're believing yourself to be unfree or bound, which can never be true. So, what if you were to switch it? You don't have to get freedom, you have to give freedom. You don't have to get freedom, you have to give freedom. What can you give freedom to? Give freedom to the world. Means what? Not that you become one Swamiji. You are free now. Give freedom to the world means let it be as it is. What is just is. Even the what is of the appearance just is. To give freedom to the world to be as it is. Now this often gets misunderstood because you still exclude your body from it. Or this body which seems so intimate is excluded from this give freedom to the world. And then you hear it as if I'm saying become one sheep or something. Let the world do whatever it wants. You just bear it, grin and bear it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying give freedom to everything in this world, including this body. Including this body to have the actions and inactions that it is having. In any case, the notion of control is just made up. Most of you know this now. So, give freedom, complete freedom to this world. And don't forget to include your body. Then give freedom to your thoughts. I know this can sound anti-spiritual. I thought all of this is about controlling my thoughts. No, it isn't. It is about giving them the freedom to come and to go. And in their naturalness, they are coming and going. Let the world come and go as it pleases. Let your thoughts come and go as they please. Give freedom to your emotions to come and even to come and to linger. Because qualitatively, emotions have a different quality than thought. Or comes and goes, even if it is repetitive. You see? It seems persistent only because it's repetitive. But an emotion can come and it can seem to stay a bit longer. It can linger. Somebody did a study on emotion and said the shelf life of the most persistent emotion is 2.25 days or something. Then it has to then repeat itself and then again. Anyway, whatever the shelf life might be, you can let it come and you can let it stay. Why? Because no emotion will take the entirety of you. You are that infinite space in which a gazillion such emotions can come. Although it might not seem like it, but it is true if you were to investigate. Give freedom to your children. She has a water balloon in her hands. Not that much. Then also we have some questions, so I'm answering the questions also along as I'm speaking. Give freedom to your attention. That's why surrender is so much easier. Just let it come and go, nothing will happen. Go wherever it wants. Nothing is going to happen. Then, and to give, how would you not give freedom to it? Actually, what is the method you have? The method that you seem to have to control the world is what? To control your emotions is what? You have no method. You just label something and say, okay, I have some control over it. Just because I decide that, okay, what is just is, but if I call it something, then it'll start conforming to the way I want it to be. And it doesn't do that. You see? Nothing changes its inherent quality because of your label, but it seems to change the way you experience it. This is the trick of consciousness. So that's why these days I've been saying more and more, leave your existence unlabeled. Nothing needs a label to exist. Nothing needs a motion to be done or not done. You see, this thing is a fallacy that I think and I decide and therefore I do. It's all nonsense. Complete nonsense. The same one thinks and the same one does, and that one is not the one you think you are. Source of all appearances is the same one consciousness, one being, one self. And we must now be able to recognize this mind fallacy, which teachers have been telling us for centuries. The Indian sage Vashish said, a crow flies and lands on the branch of the coconut tree. the coconut falls. The mind comes and makes a conclusion that it because the crow landed on the branch, the coconut fell. But both were just appearances that happened through the will of consciousness. Most of us now can see that these thoughts, they just appear and they disappear in your own space. And many of you are now starting to see that it is the very same about these actions. That is just after Satsang, I said, I swear on my father that there is no Ananta sitting here and speaking these words. Although it might appear that there is no one deciding to speak them, no one who is doing the speaking. It is only the one consciousness in the light of which all of this is happening. And we have started to accept this about our thoughts, and soon we will start to accept this about these so-called actions. This is how the fallacy of me gets created. The fallacy of separation gets created with labels. You were saying that if you drop all these notions, all of this is just one, isn't it? Yes. But we have been trained in this play, seemingly first by our parents and then by our own mind, to look at only one small appearance and call that me. So don't be so miserly. Be more inclusive. Why you want to call only this body me? Call everybody me then. If you want to call a body me, call everybody. Then why leave it at just bodies? Call it every perception because it is only a perception. A visual perception and a sensational perception. But just perception. So if you have the power to consider yourself to be something, why consider yourself to be only this thing? Consider yourself to be everything. And then, why leave out the space in which they seem to be appearing? Consider yourself to be even that. That is also just an appearance for you. There is no space unless you are. If there was not the waking state right now, even this space would not be there. So it depends on your presence. Consider yourself to be this space also. This would be truer consideration than what the consideration that we have been making. Now comes the fun part. We have considered everything that is perceived as me. But why only that which we perceive? Why not the perceiver itself? Now, when we include this part, what actually got included? So far we've included all forms. We've included all forms. And including that form of that space in which these forms appear, we included that. And I've heard reports that many of you are starting to see yourself as this spacious being. Now I ask you, when you also include the perceiver, What got included in this? What is the shape of that one? What is the size of that one? Where did you find it? Yeah? Did you find the perceiver sitting behind your eyes? One man or woman is sitting there. Cannot be found in this way. Who is that perceives all of this? What is the reality of that one? Now you might say, I find no perceiver. I find only perception. I find only perception. I find no perceiver. So include that I that finds only perception. You see, that I which is aware of even perception, include that one. Because you're not making this up. You found that there is only perception, there is only perceiving. You found. But this you, which one is this one? Did your eyes find this? Did you look with your eyes and find this? No, it itself is the instrument of perception, one of the instruments. So who found that there is only perception? Who is this I? Now, this I does not rely on any conceptual knowings or perceptual knowings. It does not need any of this, even Advaita concepts. Doesn't need anything at all, even in the realm of perception. If nothing is perceived, there is deep sleep. It is not bother. If everything is perceived, it is the waking state. It is not bother. And you have to confirm these things. And treat what I'm giving you as hypothesis. I am proposing to you that there is one, that is you, which is unconcerned if the whole world vanishes and is unconcerned with the appearance of the entire world. And the appearance and disappearance of the world is also the appearance and disappearance of its own aspect. These are the main propositions, isn't it? Now, nobody can check them but you. Is there a I? Is there a self? Which is independent of states, independent of waking, dream, sleep. And as soon as you start to contemplate this, this body idea is gone, isn't it? There's different body in waking, different body in dream, no body in sleep. Who knows all of this? And what type of knowing is this? You only have a concept of this. Then In sleep state, no body, no body, no being, and yet you are the primal beyond the primordial, the I before I am. This I has no concept of boundary, of time, of space. None of this means anything to it. Now, for a reason that no mind can ever understand, there is the emergence of that which we call being or consciousness or I amness. Guruji explained very beautifully in this retreat that even for being to emerge, for anything to emerge, there must be a space for that to come. So, this awareness, this I, is that space which is beyond space, in which being wakes up. And being is here now. But truly check whether anything changed for that I, that which was aware of no thing, and now is aware of all things. Is that I changing states? Or are these just states also just appearances on the screen of its being? And if nothing changed for this I when the waking state came, and it remains the primal witnessing of all there is, then what a ludicrous idea it must be that I can be hurt in this play, that something can happen to me, that I might be bound and I need freedom, that I might even want the Ananda of Satchitananda is a joke because I am the source of all things. So duality is a joke, desire is a joke, and doership is a joke. And the ego is just made of these three Ds, these three jokes. If you remain unchanged when waking state comes and waking state goes, how can something happen to you in the waking state? Just like nothing, like you complaining and saying, "Oh, this happened to me in the dream state, my arm was cut." But consciousness wanted to play with more excitement in this game. It didn't just want to play it as if an impersonal movie is playing on the screen and it remains untouched. Because where's the fun in that? Then it devised for itself the power to identify, the power to believe, and it devised for itself a narrator in this play who will always tell you a personal story. So who is this narrator? It is this mind. Nothing has happened to you, but you have given yourself the power to pretend as if something has, the power to believe that you were born, the power to believe that you will die, the power to believe that you are this body, the power to believe that these thoughts are referring to the reality of you. Basically, the power to believe nonsense. All of this for the reality of you is pure nonsense. Now, as I'm saying all of this, it might feel like, how do I get there? How do I find this? You have it now. You don't have to believe it. You just have to see it. All boundaries are notional. All limitations are ideas. All desires are made up. All doership is nonsense. So as you leave everything unmolested by your labels, unmolested by your concepts and notions, by your intentions and your judgments, this is so fully apparent to you. That's why I said, meet God right now. But if you judge God right now, if you interpret God right now, this God will seem personal. Meet God with no labels. And know that this has always been true. You have only met yourself. So when I say meet yourself or meet God with no labels, very quickly the notion will come. Am I doing this meeting right? So that is also notion. Just let it come and go. Am I getting what he's saying? Another notion. Let it come and go. No, he must be in a different state than me. Just a notion. Let it come and go. I have to stay like this only now. Just a notion. Let it come and go. But this can't be it. Just an idea. Let it come and go. But I was promised bliss. Definitely let it come and go. This is what I mean by giving freedom. And the mind is also another creation of the Supreme Intelligence. So it knows that it's game over for it if these paradigms are reversed. If you were to come in from this paradigm of wanting freedom, to giving freedom, and quickly realizing that as you rest in your neutrality, there is just freedom for all appearances, that it is not a physical activity that you're doing. In your natural state, there is just freedom. Nothing is ever a thing. We make it a thing with our labels, with our judgments. You want to meet God, God is here. The most powerful being, the only being in the universe is your presence. And everything shines in the light of this presence. Have you seen sunlight when you are asleep? So you have to exist for the sun to shine. And if this is too much for some of you, just for some time feel like I'm talking about your experience of it. At least the experience of it, you can admit that I cannot have the experience of sun shining unless I am. I am not just speaking of your experience of it, I'm talking about the reality of it. And yet I know that for some, it can seem like that is just too far out. So for some time, stay with the idea that I'm talking about, your experience of it. In your deep sleep state, you do not see the sun shining. So your light must be present for you to even experience the light of the sun. This is the primal light. Your very existence is the light of this universe. It is not a feel-good concept. Many times when we read these things the first time, like, that sounds very nice. I am the light. But it's literal. You are literally the light of this world. Your existence is the precursor to the existence of all appearances. And here you are, the Lord of the universe, trying to bring freedom to one body out of 7 billion or something. Yeah. The other day I was speaking to someone and jokingly I said to them, why you want freedom only for this body? Why not for everybody? They said very beautifully, of course, I want it for everybody. But let's be honest. Even if you want it for everybody, you want it for me first. And the worst idea is for me to get left behind. We said that everybody's okay in the Sangha as long as nobody seems to be getting it and everybody's looking at me like, then it's fine. But if I'm like, and everybody else is going, then that is big trouble. what is it called? FOMO, you know, the fear of missing out. Very primal fear, actually. You are the Lord of the universe. Just played this game of pretending as if you are this tiny entity. And in the design of this game, you also design another appearance to come and remind you that you are not this tiny entity, but you are the Lord of this universe. Now, the mind has one big trump card up its sleeve. One big trump card up its sleeve. You are discovering that you are the shoreless ocean, as Ashtavakra said. You are the shoreless ocean in which the arcs of the universe they come and go. You are finding this out. But you want to fill this ocean that you are discovering yourself to be in your body. I got it. Like this body, the seeming inhabitant of this body is now free. This is the last attractive trump card from the mind. It will say, now that you have freedom, you should always be smiling. Hey, ocean and coconut. They're trying to fill this ocean into this coconut body. And now coconut should change its color from green to pink or something like that. The coconut should have a halo now. It has nothing to do with this body. Leave this body alone. The body is just another appearance on the screen of your being, in the light of your being, in the will of your being. Stop trying to prove that this body got something or this body hasn't got it yet. Those are nonsense because it doesn't have anything to do with this body. In the play of the world, as consciousness has played this game of identification and ridding itself of delusion, it might also play in certain ways with how the body appears now. But there is nothing to be concerned with about that. Beauty of truth is that it cannot go away. The beauty of truth also is that it has always been. It will not become the truth after you find it. It must be already present. See, all our waiting is actually a sham also. You are God, but not personally. What is that? And the twain shall never meet. Is that what this is? Our attempt has been to make this body mind God. A God has always just been God. Body mind can never become God, and God can never become the body. When you leave everything, what can't you leave? When you give freedom to everything to come and go, what just is? Does that have a boundary? Does it have a shape? Does it have a birthday? Does it have states? No, it is that one which the scriptures say cannot be cut by swords, cannot be burnt by fire, cannot rot in water, cannot fade with time. You are already this. And the body is just the opposite of that. It will be cut by sword, it will be burnt by fire, it will rot in water, and it will fade in time. Let's accept this fact and move forward from it. It will end up in the funeral pyre or under the ground. And all your possessions and positions, all your great conceptual understanding and learning, all your great experiences, where will they all go? That which you want to get, if you get it, it will go. That which is already here, as your very essence, is the unchanging one. The essence of your being is what? Yes, not separate, not separate. But the body is just one aspect appearing in your own light. It's like you have a head full of hair, but you consider yourself to be just one hair among them. See? And what I'm saying is that whatever might be appearing on this screen of my being, how many bodies, whatever I might consider myself to be, when you start to include that which perceives all of this, when you start to include that which is aware of all of this, what do you find yourself to be? Do you find yourself to be a body which has discovered the self? Or do you find yourself to be the self, of which this entire universe is the body? This is what is important. Are you finding yourself to be a body that has found the self? Or do you really see that you are the self, of which this entire play of appearances is just your phenomenal aspect, is your body? Nothing exists without your life. What is your experience of this? Because I've spoken now for 5 years, and I might speak for another 5, 10, 15 minutes. But what I'm saying will not change. The words might change, but where I'm pointing you to is the same. We are so quick to pick up this reference point as if I'm contained as some object within this body. We're so quick to pick up these sunglasses of individuality. That even this understanding of no limitation, no boundary, you want to give to the limited one. And he says, this discovery gives no advantage in the play. Prarabdha does not change. Please give me a practical tip. How to deal with other gods in the play. I am a novice in this. Compulsions and tendencies are not peaceful. Yes. Guruji says, discover that all of this is a dream that doesn't give any advantage to that dream character which you believed yourself to be. Prarabdha does not change. Give me a practical tip. How to deal with others in the play. First part of what I said is very useful here. Practically allow all your appearances to be as they are, including the appearance of this body that we call a head. In this simple allowing, Anil is at Guruji's feet. Nobody has come with any advantage in this practical life. Nobody has ever come. You might hear all the stories of the miracles, but Ram came and he cried and cried and cried in this world. Jesus came and he cried and cried in this world. Nobody has come with any super advantage. You might have all the siddhis in the world, but till there is mind, suffering will not leave. All this is bound to come and it is bound to go. But there comes a point where you want truth for truth's sake. Not for the perks of truth. You know this, all of you. All of you know this. That there is nothing in satsang for me. By now, all of you know this. And yet, you are still here. Therefore, a very big part of you, at least, if not the entirety of you, now is aligned to this, truth for truth's sake. Of course, there can be moments when life events seem very strong. It can feel like I just want relief from this pain. I just want my family to be better, feel better, be happy. And these moments will also come and go. And there are many shops in the world who are selling solutions for all of these moments. I'm here to tell you that you are much beyond this. Whether in the play of the life of whatever name you refer to yourself as, there are tears or laughter, you are finding that you are beyond this. Of course, the end of suffering is often tasted, but we should not even emphasize on that because that itself becomes an expectation. So I would rather say forget God. If everything was on fire, would you still want the master in your heart? Would you still want to taste only the truth of what you are? And maybe in that moment where everything is on fire, it seems too difficult and ask, it's fine. But at least when you get a moment to reflect, what is it you really want? If I was a genie, but you had only one wish, what would be your wish? You ask for something ephemeral, it will come and go with this body. My attention towards my being keeps slipping. I become aware only when it comes back. Please help. Yes, yes. I'm saying leave your attention to do whatever it wants. There's a similar question right in the beginning as well. When I said give everything its full freedom, I included also attention in that. Let your attention go wherever it wants and discover that it can never leave you. Attention is going there, going there, going there, going there. What is it attached to? Can you send attention out? Just send it. Send it so far out that it has no connection with you. Who can do this? Because you can have this idea that my attention leaves me. Where I want to see this. Send it out from you. Can you send it out? I'll send it back to you, promise. You send it out, and I will catch it, and I will send it back to you. So you will not permanently use it. You see? I'm making a joke of this, but I want you to discover that your attention is only navigating your own being. It's only moving within your being. It cannot leave you. So my advice is, is rarely given like this to those who don't feel it is natural to remain with the pure sense I am, unassociated presence I am. And that is what you're referring to. That advice is only for those for whom it is very natural. You don't have to force anything. As long as you're not believing what your mind is telling you about yourself, there is no trouble. Let the attention goes wherever it wants. There is no identification just with attention. You also need belief. You need to identify. Some of you are new today, so maybe I quickly share this example of the ATM. Now suppose the attempt of the project was the opposite. You're trying to escape your misery, but now suppose that you were born on another planet, which is the enlightened planet. There is no suffering, nobody is miserable. Now some collect in Satsang there and say, I want to get a taste of this misery. How do we do it? I heard of this concept. Like we hear of this concept of enlightenment. They've heard of the concept of misery. Huh? Yeah. How do we get this misery? Then they really start experimenting. They realize that they have a ATM machine. The anytime misery machine is there. It's called the mind. In that planet, it existed, but it was hardly ever given any attention. So now they notice, what is the point of this machine? Anytime misery machine called the mind. Then they start to give it attention. So why is it the ATM? First you have to put the ATM card in. Means attention to mind card. You have to put it in. But just because you put the ATM card in, which is attention, can you extract money or anything from the ATM? You also have to punch your personal identification, which means nothing but belief. You have to say that this has meaning for me. The thought is coming and going. The thought could be saying, you're a pink elephant, you're a terrible father, you're going to fail in your exams, you're going to lose your relationships. All of this are just thoughts. They mean nothing till you give your assent to them, till you punch in your pin. The thought in itself has no power. It is what we have considered it to be, or considered ourselves to be, that seems to give it power. So if you consider yourself to be a father, and the thought comes, but you are a terrible father, that might have something. If you consider yourself to be an Olympic wrestler, and if the thought comes that, oh, you're a terrible wrestler, only then will it bother you. If the wrestler thought comes to the father, he's not bothered. And if the father thought comes to the wrestler, he's not bothered. Therefore, the thought in itself does not have the power. It is what we consider ourselves to be. And this giving assent, this belief, is the root of identity. So you can give attention to whatever you want. Till you are not believing yourself to be that, you cannot extract misery from this mind. It is impossible. Give attention to all your thoughts. Let's see what happens. Because that thought itself has become so oppressive, I cannot let my attention go to my thoughts. So trying to control this attention. It doesn't look like freedom to you. If you're constantly worried about where attention is going, does that look like freedom to you? Is this how sages are appearing to you? Constantly concerned about where their attention is going? No. In fact, sages are called the Mahabhogis. They're tasting everything in this phenomenal world with full 100% taste. When they're having a conversation, they're having the conversation. They're not thinking, oh, what will I say next? What must be happening at my house? They're fully in that. So they're tasting this phenomenal appearance with full brightness and clarity. And that can only be with attention. A dissipated attention is not what freedom is. Last question for today. What actually changes when self-realization happens? Is it just the mental belief in the separate self and habit of identification that drops? Yes. That is a simple one. Yes. I wish all of you would feel like, oh, it is just that. Because most of you feel like it's such a struggle to drop this belief in the separate self and the habit of identification. If you could just, all of you could just put it like this, I would be very happy. Or it's just the dropping of the mental belief. Yes. Not even that. It is to actually recognize that all of that is already gone now. Even the dropping we don't have to do. To see the self that is here, to have an insight about this. And not to pick up the false notions about yourself. So recognition of the self and a depowering of this conditioning that comes from the mind is what is liberation. Thank you all so much for being in Satsang today. Sadhguru Shri Muji Baba ki Jai.
Sadhguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Nitya has dropped all her masks and become completely transparent. So you can't see her head, only the hand. She's not well. So when I said, consider yourself to be the space and not this body, that's what I meant.